Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Codex After Dark. Today is all about memories. We are going to stroll down memory lane. My name is Tim. I'm your host tonight. Over on either side of me here is the beautifully talented and doughy-eyed Sal, the slab guy. Down below is Archduke Kevy. You'll know him from Comic Character of the Week and the Facebook group on Facebook called Comic Character of the Day. And over on either side of him, somewhere around there, is the Instagram artist of Instagram artists, Dan Kelly. How you guys doing tonight?
Good man.
Couldn't,
What's going on?
couldn't
All
be
right.
more ducky. Peachy, peach flavored ducky. That sounds really good right now.
Very
Duck.
cheeky.
Peachy,
know.
ducky.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a heck of a show for you tonight. We're gonna get the business out of the way. Jamie's gonna come in and give us a very seductive explanation on how you can save 20% store-wide at a super cool store. We've also got polls this week, as per usual, and two topics for you: comic companies that no longer exist or folded into the big two, and books that are out of your wheelhouse. And what we mean by that is things you don't normally read, but you currently are. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can find us on all the socials. All you got to do is type in the Codex Station, and that is where you will find us. We also have a website that is called thecodexstation.com for all your codex needs. We've even got merchandise on there if I will stop phasing in and out of time. Yeah, you can get something cool like this and wear it and be as awesome as I am or as awesome as these guys are with me tonight. All you got to do is go to thecodexstation.com and purchase that. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube or Twitch, make sure to like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to. Wes is doing a real good job of that today. It does help with the algorithm and lets the YouTube and Twitch algorithm gods know that we deserve to be seen and shown to as many people like you as possible. Sal, you have a website, or not a website, you have a YouTube channel. Why don't you
I
tell
do.
people about that real quick?
All right. You can find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner. There we go. Thank you, Dan the Man. So and I'm also on Instagram on the Slab Guy 77, where I talk about my slabs, do some unboxings. And recently I just made a video about sending off some books to be slabbed. So
Nice.
I'll have that up probably the next day or two. So check it out.
Wonderful. And Dan, you are on Instagram. Let people know how they can find some awesome artwork.
You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. Just search hashtag Dan Kelly Art. I post a few times a week, and I've got a few things I'm going to be I'm working on to post next week. So come check it out.
Fantastic.
Dan, you need to do a Optimus Prime drawing.
I actually did. If you look on my,
Oh, you
Well,
did. Ooh. All right. I'll check it out.
I sold.
Well,
Like 5 or 6 months ago, I sold. Had to let go of a bunch of stuff, and I sold most of my Transformers comics in a bunch of different lots. And for all the people that won, each person, I did like a quick sketch. Well, some not so quick on a backing board of a different character. And the first three, I did 3 different Optimus Primes, and then after that, I did a Megatron, a Soundwave,
Soundwave is awesome.
a Wheeljack, and a Shockwave.
Shockwave.
wonderful.
They just go on my page and scroll down a little bit, and you'll see them.
There you go. And
Very
last
cool.
but not least, Kevin, you have that awesome Facebook group on Facebook where all of us are. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
There is a group on Facebook, as Tim has mentioned, called Comic Character of the Day that I created, and I have all these guys here helping me run it. They're awesome, and couldn't be more appreciative of you guys for that. Thank you. We post a different character, a different cover, question, anything news related, humor, anything relating to this comic book geekery that we all love. We are almost at 500 members. When we get to that precipice, we're going to fall off, and it's going to be horrible. But until that, we're going to actually be doing a giveaway of different comic book swag, and I'd love to get the opportunity to send away some cool stuff to the lucky winner. So come on, join us, and hopefully get the chance to win some cool stuff.
Well, you heard that swag stuff we all get. Sal, how can we all save 20%? That's what
All right. There is a site called Heroscornercomics.
Woo!
You must check them out. They're on Facebook. You can go on to heroscornercomics.com and check them out. You can set up a pool list. You could buy variants. You could buy slabs. You could buy special editions. They have a lot of things in their backstock that you can check out. And if you order online, use the coupon code CODEX, that's CODEX, no hyphen, and you'll save 20% on that order. So go check them out.
Fantastic. Let's hear Jamie lull us into a false sense of security and tell us all about Heroes Corner Comics.
Everyone, if you're anything like me, you love comics, but you also love a good deal. And our friends over at Heroes Corner Comics have just the deal for you. From exclusives to back issues, graded slabs, current issues, and even set up a subscription with them. And all you have to do is use the keyword CODEX at checkout. That's CODEX, and you will save 20% store-wide. So don't miss out.
Hell
There
yeah.
you
Hell
go. There you go,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Save 20%
Do it now.
store-wide. Do it now. Get to the
Yeah,
store. Do it now.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
We got the business out of the way. Dan, why don't you start us off with some polls?
All right. Well, it's a light week for me because of my bank account. So
That happens.
yeah. So I got this.
Okay.
I've never heard of that one.
It's part of the Radiant Black
Well,
universe.
okay.
This was, and Travis at the shop told me, I looked it up too. Before he did Radiant Black, they did a Kickstarter, and this is the first of a 3-issue miniseries. It's collecting the books they did for Kickstarter,
Nice.
but it's all tied
Nice.
into the Radiant Black stuff too.
Cool.
Nice.
I got the new Thor.
Thor. Nice.
He's so Thor he could hardly piss.
The Junkyard Joe, which has been awesome so far.
Mhm.
Is that your book of the week?
No, but it is. It's good. I mean, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. It's pretty hard to go wrong, and it's a pseudo sequel to when they did Geiger, and then when they ended Geiger, they were like, oh hey, this isn't a one miniseries. We're like having a whole universe, and then this Junkyard Joe is going to be miniseries is going to be the next part of it, and they have this whole timeline mapped out, so it's pretty cool. And one thing that's really cool, just to take a second, in the back of these is, since it is a military book, one of the things that they have in the back of every issue of this is they have, I know it's hard to see on here, they have a veterans dedication where they put I don't know if you can see, where they have stories about actual veterans that they have people write in and give them stories about family members that they had that were veterans. So that's a pretty cool thing in the back of it too.
Nice. Okay. All right. What else you got?
The new Detective Comics,
That cover looks good.
which has been a great series. And then this I would probably pick as my pick of the week. I'm anxious to read it, which is,
What is it?
Justice Society of America issue 2.
My shop ran out.
I am so excited that they finally brought this back. That's one
Me
thing
too.
I hated about New 52 is that they just completely got rid of all these legacy characters like the Justice Society, and they're finally back, and I couldn't be happier.
That's wonderful. You said Justice Society of America #2, correct?
Yep, issue 2.
Fantastic.
I am completely there with you on that one. I love the Justice Society.
I saw an advertisement for it the other day, and it really piqued my interest. So that's something I'm definitely going to check out.
And there's
Well-
Jeff Johns writing it too, who just had
You
some
know it's going to be good.
fantastic
Yeah.
run on Justice Society.
Right. Yeah.
Well, all right, Dan, your list is short, but your pick is not. That's an awesome pick for the week. Sal, why don't you take us down this road and continue with what you got for the week?
Hmm?
All right, sounds good. All right, first up, I got Lazarus Planet. We Were Once Gods.
Nice.
This is the 4th cover,
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
and this is the A cover.
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's great. I've heard Lazarus Planet is absolutely amazing right now.
It's
Lazarus
great.
Planet.
It is.
I said
Yep.
Pit, didn't I? I said Pit,
Oh.
didn't I?
Let me know your book of the week when you come across it too.
All right, no problem. I have Action Comics 1051. I picked this up for the
Action.
cover. I just love
That-
this cover. It
That
stood out
that
to
is a
me.
really cool cover.
Yeah, that's great.
So. All right, book of the week is Sins of Sinister number
Yes.
1.
Ooh.
Awesome.
You notice I only have one copy.
Mhm.
That you're
Well, I'm sure that-
showing.
All right, this
You-
is what I
you
got
didn't
from my
You
There
didn't
we
get
go.
the
Oh,
Emma
okay.
Frost cover?
What's that?
You didn't pick up the Emma Frost cover?
Well,
Maybe.
not
You're jumping the gun, Dan.
give me a. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
So I got the Venom 15.
How many
Wow.
how many copies of that?
This is just one of the yes.
Didn't we see that last week?
We did, but that was not yes.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That's that.
Mhm.
So this is
There.
Amazing Spider-Man number 18. Dark Web.
How is Dark Web right now?
I like it, Dark Web. I really do. I'm enjoying the story. I really
Good.
am.
It's fun.
So we have Spider-Man Lost Hunt.
Ooh.
Nice.
We have X-Men Immortal X-Men number 10.
Ooh,
Nice.
look at that.
That's a good
That's a
cover.
cool cover
Yeah.
with the reflection in the helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Invincible Iron Man number 2.
Man, that looks good too.
Nice.
Is he going
I like
against
to read-
Ironheart?
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Very cool.
Marvel's
Right?
pushing her. Get ready for the show to come out on Disney Plus soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
And here are 2 books that we can later talk about as out of my wheelhouse. So I picked up Blade Vampire Nation.
Nice.
Ooh.
I mean, I've been a Blade fan, but I mean, I've never really read his stuff too much. But
Mhm.
anyhow, I did read that. That was a good read. I also picked up Dragon Age number 1.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Have not read this yet, so
That looks
it's interesting
interesting.
to read this one. And of course, I picked up a copy of Darkwing.
Nice.
Dynamite.
Dangerous.
Dangerous. Let's get dangerous.
I
So
saw
that is
somebody
my-
posted on a page somewhere that they released a blank sketch cover for Darkwing Duck, but the person that got it was disappointed because it doesn't have, and I'd be mad too, it doesn't have the Darkwing Duck logo on the
Aw.
front cover. It's just completely blank.
Oh,
And then like on the back cover, it's kind of small in the bottom corner. Like, no, man,
Darkwing Duck number
you
1.
got to have the logo on there so people know what it is.
Wow. Hang on a second. My dog's barking.
I was like, when I saw that, I was like, man, if they had the Darkwing Duck logo on there, I would definitely try and pick that up and do a Darkwing Duck sketch cover. But without
The problem,
yeah,
the problem I would have with that is, of course, I'd have to bag it and board it, and every time I saw it, I'm like, which?
you'd be like, what the
What
hell
is
is this?
this? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're drunk, don't go stumbling up the stairs and be real loud with your neighbors. That's why dogs bark.
Not yet.
Okay, Sal, that's all you got for the week?
That's all for my LCS. Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and switch over to me. I don't have anything from my LCS this week. I haven't gotten new books in quite a while, but I'm going to be getting back into that. But I'm still reading them when I can, getting them from friends or through subscriptions digitally and things like that. As far as new books, my pick of the week is going to be Poison Ivy. I just finally caught up with that. The only stink that I have is that they are switching artists every issue, and I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I wish they wouldn't do that because whoever the artist was, I can't remember his name right offhand, who did all the way up to almost issue 6, and then they put guest artists in every 7 pages, was perfect, and they shouldn't have changed it.
Agreed. But the series itself has been tremendous.
Oh yeah, the writing is phenomenal and it's absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. But beyond that,
Yep.
we're gonna do the episode's namesake, and I'm gonna take you guys down a stroll down memory lane and show you some cool books that I dug out of my personal collection that I wanted to show you guys tonight. So first off, Sal saw this one on the pre show before you guys got in, and Kevin, while your computer died. But Dan, you reminded me that I had this because of your Batman Captain America review, so I had to pull this out.
I got that one too.
Yep, this is Bagley art.
It is Bagley art.
And it's absolutely beautiful. If you guys can't find this, it's I know it's a little more than a couple of dollars, but it's not totally unreachable.
So, well, I don't know about that because when Dan and I were at the LCS, we asked about that book. Well, I did. He said that it was hard to get under $80.
80? I used to have that one. Are you kidding me?
I don't.
Okay. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to go kick
now,
the little.
Maybe that's this area right now. I don't know, but that was
that's
like
very possible.
That was a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I will say though that I haven't been to a convention in a while, but all those Marvel DC crossover books, like I don't really see them too often at
they're a little difficult to get a hold of.
I don't really see vendors that have them too often. You'll see the X-Men Teen Titans one. I feel like that's the one I end up seeing the most.
Yeah. Last I checked on eBay, Sal's gone. But last I checked on eBay, that book was only going for $15 or $20. I could be wrong now, but we'll see. But moving on, Sal, if you want to look up what current fair market value is for Batman, Spider-Man,
I can check it out.
Okay, great.
Hold on one second. Sorry, Sal, you might want to move the camera down a little bit.
Right.
Because you're kind of low down on the.
I love looking at the top of his head, and we get to see all his
it is pretty.
I'm the forehead of security.
Moving on, let's go into the early days of Image, gentlemen, and Mark Silvestri. We have Cyberforce #1.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful book. This is definitely within anybody's price range to pick up.
I got that autographed by him when they did the Killer Instinct tour.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was him and Jim Lee and I want to say Phil Hester, and I forget who the fourth guy that was with him on the tour. But,
probably Jim Valentino. A lot of people forget about him.
Brandon Choi. I think it might have been Brandon Choi.
Fair enough. He was doing Gen 13 at the time, I think, or Stormwatch. Either way, speaking of Jim Lee, let's move on to Wildcats #1.
Have that one. Awesome.
Got it.
Yep.
Got that one autographed by Jim Lee at the same thing.
Dan's off the show now because he's got too much cool stuff.
Yeah.
But those are books to have. Here's one I got on eBay for $3 on an auction. This is a 12 center. And this is Strange Adventures #158.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you came really close to pissing me off there, man.
How so?
I've been trying to find Strange Adventures #180 for years.
Look on eBay, buddy. You might be able to find it.
I did, but I'm trying. It's hard to find in any kind of condition that's decent. It's the first appearance of Animal Man, who's my favorite character.
There's a lot of spine damage here, but for $3 and a 12 center, I couldn't pass it up. It just looked
better to be pissed off than pissed on, Kev.
Very true.
That's a good thing. Go ahead.
Going back with some modern stuff. I just like these covers. This is the Batman Who Laughs, the Grim Knight #1. I want to say this is the B cover. Nice. I could be wrong.
Oh, that is pretty.
Yeah, that's the B cover.
Look
at the barcode. You should be able to tell.
Yeah, it's 00121. 121.
Yeah, that means that's
the B cover.
First issue, second cover, first printing.
Yeah. Well, then I also have this one, this variant, and I really dig this. I got this out of a grab bag on eBay. And this is the Grim Knight #1, Batman Who Laughs. And it's this one.
Nice.
Nice.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
That's how much they said it was worth, is $15. I don't know if that's
Mm.
still the case now, but the cover is pretty badass.
It is.
So I got an
Uh,
update price for you when you're done.
Go for it, Sal.
Yeah. Oh, Sal's got it. Okay.
Yeah, so that Batman Spider-Man book is actually cheaper than what we thought here. It goes from anywhere from $25 to like $37.
Not unaffordable. I mean, it's
There's even a
definitely-
9.6 slab of that. It went for
Ooh.
$50.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the one here that sold January 26th for $6.53.
There you go. So it's definitely still within your grasp, gentlemen.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
And
So
then-
let's go to some 30 centers here. We're gonna do Batman. Well, 2 Batman books, and then we'll move to Marvel. We have Batman. This is the earliest Batman issue I own, and this is
Okay.
Batman 279.
Oh, look at that.
Nice. That's nice.
I remember when they used to do Riddler like that. I remember that Riddler.
Yeah.
I love that Riddler.
The book has seen better days, but the cover is still really good. It's not Neil Adams or anything like that. It's Ernie Chava or something like that. But it's still cool. This is the earliest detective I own, and this is a 12 center. And this is one I got at a convention. Kind of got conned into buying it, and I hated myself for buying it because I think I spent more than I wanted to. But the book has grown on me since then. This is Detective Comics 379. I think I paid $40 for it at the time.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow.
Yeah. But the spine is all but destroyed. The book, the cover is barely hanging on, but it's the oldest detective I own.
Look how short his cape is.
Right? That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sometime in the 60s.
That is
Now
cool.
we're gonna move to Marvel. This was one of my favorite runs for a long time for Daredevil, and this is when Mark Waid was doing it. Daredevil #1.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't read this, or anybody, if you haven't read it, definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. This
With
is also
Chris Samney, right, as the artist.
Yeah,
Sammy,
before Mike Allred took over for a little while. But this is also the run that Superior Spider-Man makes his first appearance.
No, that was great.
Yeah. Here's something that I think is going to be worth money within the next couple of years. This is a book I'm going to retire on, gentlemen. I'm going to make $1 billion. This is no, I showed that already. This is you can retire twice. This is the Avengers #267. It's newsstand, and it is the first appearance of the Council of Kangs.
Yeah.
Colossus.
The Ant-Man movie coming out. That's going to be some movie. That's going to be some money.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, and it's going to get pressed and graded long before then. So
yeah, between that,
we better hurry up because February that comes out February something, right?
Well,
14? 12?
Kang Dynasty will be coming out too. I don't think the Council of Kangs is going to be in Quantumania, right? Or will it be in Loki season 2?
Kang will be, but we don't know about the Council.
We'll find out. Let's
find out.
Hey, they got post-credit scenes.
There you go. Let's stick with the Avengers for a minute, gentlemen. I don't remember if I showed this or not, but everybody goes after giant-size X-Men. How about some giant-size Avengers?
Nice.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect book. Within price range. So if you can't sell a child to get giant-size Avenger, X-Men giant-size Avengers, yeah, there you go. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, moving on to something that ended at issue 100, the ever-talented and tiny feet drawer, Liefeld, New Mutants #100.
Nice.
There you go.
Very
so
good.
This is 2 issues after Deadpool made his first appearance. Doesn't appear again until X-Force #2. Speaking
I
of,
had like the first, second, and third printing of that book because they changed the background a little bit.
Oh, the colors, yeah,
because the second print was white background with gold where it said 100 over and over again, and then the third print was white background with silver 100.
Yeah. Speaking of X-Force, on the Codex podcast, we did a review of a story called X-Force Sex and Violence. That was kind of the middle ground story from the previous X-Force title to this one, which is Uncanny X-Force. Wonderful stories. If this, I think, was peak Marvel. Really good stories, really experimental stories, and stories that kind of push the envelope were coming out at this time. Definitely check it out. You can see who the whole team is: Psylocke, Wolverine, Phantom X, Deadpool, and Archangel.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that series?
Remeder.
Hashtag bring back Archangel.
Yeah.
X Factor, something that continued but was fresh and brand new, and everybody liked it. I know I did. X Factor number 71. Peter
That
David.
was great. Yeah, that's a good
Wonderful.
score.
Awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's a
This
great
is
score.
great stories. Great new team. Polaris, Havoc, Strong Guy, Multiple Man, and Wolfsbane.
I love the whole thing where Guido had to come up with a superhero name. He was like Strong Guy, and they were like, "That's a terrible name."
That's a perfect name.
Yeah,
it ended up being perfect.
Sticking with themes, I think that the early stuff here, probably the first 20 or so issues, told really, really good stories, and then it turned into your typical book of the month X title, and this is Excalibur number 1.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely worth checking out. Alan Davis does artwork in the early stuff, and he did a really, really good job. And the stories are super duper awesome, very in depth. And the artwork definitely fits and applies. And that's where you get to see a real change with Nightcrawler. Who was talking about that, Dan, in your question of the week? Somebody mentioned that, like when Nightcrawler went to Excalibur, that's where the character really, really changed. And my last...
That was right after the Mutant Massacre.
Yeah. My last book to show before we move on to Kevin. This is a first appearance. It's a 40 center. So this is from 1979, the year I was born. Excuse me. This is the first appearance of Terex.
Oh nice. Yeah.
Right. My favorite Herald of Galactus.
Yeah, he's an underrated character.
Oh, in Time Runs Out and Secret Wars, he is brutal.
I'm telling you. Good stuff, man.
That's what I got for the week. Kevin, why don't you go ahead and round us out and show us what you have.
With your huge stack.
Thank you. Genetics has been kind to me. One of the things that I got that I thought was really interesting is Rogue State number 1. It's one of those big ones. But what makes this one especially interesting is this was the cover that was drawn by Chuck D of Public Enemies fame.
Oh, nice.
Right. That was cool. Gold Goblin number 3, the homage to the old Peter Parker, Spider-Man,
awesome
Gold Goblin cover, right?
Kevin, let me know what your book of the week is when you get to it, if you don't mind.
Okay. So I'm not sure. Do we count like story or cover as like our pick? Because
whatever you want, it's your pick.
I got a good one right here. It's up there.
What is it?
At your discretion. It's at your discretion.
Is this your book of the week?
This might be. I'll keep going and see if something else pops up, and then I'll change.
You let me know.
Flash number 791. Check out that cover.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, that is so classic. Love that. 3 Keys number. What was this? Number 4. It's kind of classic. Okay. It's almost Sin City feel to it.
Nice.
And my comic shop ran out of bags and boards, so forgive this next unfinished. So I got, this might look familiar, Lazarus Planet, We Once Were Gods.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It's a hard one to show because of the darkness on the cover.
Right, yeah. Plus, I need better lighting, which I will get to eventually, so. Apologies. So we got some interesting Sins of Sinister, number 1. alternate
look at
cover.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I
And
love
this
the
one-
power of Cyclops right there.
Right. And this one, I love this cover for Sins of Sinister, Strike Force Moriarty,
Yeah.
number classic reference to the old 80s comic run. We got Star Wars Yoda, number 3,
Okay.
because not a big Star Wars dude in general. I know, forgive me, but Yoda is just you gotta
Nothing to forgive yourself about. Star
Yeah.
Trek is the superior story, anyways.
Thank you, agreed.
I just made half the world mad.
Right. Invincible number 1, Undeluxe number alternate cover. Pretty
Nice.
Yeah, that's
cool.
nice.
Isn't that where they do like the whole issue in black and white?
Yes.
Okay.
We got the what do they call
It's on the
that?
cover.
Facsimile. Oh no, it's not. It's not. But Incredible Hulk number 347. Joe Chill or Joe, not Joe. Joe.
Joe Fix-It.
Joe Fix It.
Joe
Oh,
Joe
is that
Fix
the
It.
reprint of the first Joe Fix It?
You were half right.
Yep.
Oh, what's that? What's that, Dan?
I said, was that the reprint of the first Joe Fix It?
Maybe I'm
I don't
not
think so.
sure. I like to pick up all facsimile editions. I haven't checked to see
might be.
specifically what they want.
What's the issue number for it?
347.
Look at that. real
While
quick.
you're looking that up, we got the variant cover of Detective Comics number 1068.
Ooh, that looks good.
That's
Isn't
really
that
good.
awesome?
That's great. Is that Man Bat he's going against?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually caught up with Detective recently. I need to get up on that one. We got
And yeah, I just
all-
looked it up. That is the reprint. That is the first appearance of the Joe Fix-It personality, and it is the first appearance of Marlo Chandler.
nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
So what issue number was that, Dan?
347.
347.
347?
Yeah.
We got All Out Avengers number 5. The Avengers versus Spider-Man.
Getting the snot kicked out of him.
Yeah. Action Comics number 1051 variant cover.
Looks good.
Yep.
Isn't that cool, Phil? Dead Boy Detectives number 2. Because anything Sandman, I gotta get.
Right?
Blue Beetle, Graduation Day number 3.
Nice.
This one may or may not look familiar to you guys. I'm not sure.
I don't think we've seen that, Kevin. What is that?
Detective Comics number, I just showed it to you. Where is it on the cover?
Dan and Sal have no idea what it is.
1067, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Action Comics, another alternate cover, variant cover for
that.
Action
That's
Comics.
good.
Is that the mini one, the
1051.
embossed cover, or is it the regular cover?
It's
That's just regular
regular.
cover.
Yeah, there's another one that's the embossed like foil of that looks really cool too.
It
Nice.
is.
Yeah.
I didn't. They might shop didn't have that one. Amazing Spider-Man number 18.
Well,
Well, it looks familiar.
yeah.
Hitomi number 4. If anybody's into Japanese like samurai stories, Hitomi's been great. Recommend it.
Nice.
Saga number 61. Because
I am sorry, but I have tried and tried and tried to get into Saga, and I just cannot do it.
Once
That
again,
is beyond my wheelhouse.
there you go. Bring that up
well.
later. That is if you like Star Wars saga.
I love science fiction, but Saga's just high science fiction, and I'm not that high.
Not yet, anyway.
Give it a minute.
Midnight Suns number 5, where they're de-aging Agatha Harkness to kind of correspond more with her appearance in the MCU. Creep Show number 5, the end of this particular run.
Great
Creepshow.
horror stuff. Absolutely.
Variant cover, Creepshow number
That looks
5.
good.
Stargirl.
It's
and the
meteor
Lost Children.
shit.
Nice.
What's that?
It's meteor shit.
Number 3.
From the movie? Never mind. Okay.
No, okay. Took me a minute. Sorry, right?
Got
This
it on his
one-
finger.
Okay. This
That movie
one,
in like 20 years.
this might be not. This might be like last week's, but I changed my mind. This is my pick of the week because I love the dynamic of the characters.
Okay.
Avengers 2, Wonder Man and Beast. Number
Nice.
1.
That was a cool miniseries.
I love those guys.
What issue number is that?
And
That
that
is
is
what-
Bagley art.
Then, yep, that's number 1.
Because he
Avengers
did
number
the
1.
other series too, the original series, which I have.
No, that is the 3-issue. That just reprints the 3-issue miniseries.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's what it is. That's what that is. Yeah. So Venom number. I got an issue of Venom away from Sal. I know.
No, you didn't.
You broke in and got it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you actually did.
I did. Variant number 15. Venom number 15. Variant.
It's an
Yeah.
homage
I
to
got-
375.
I have 1 or 2 of those.
Sure.
One or two.
I got Invincible Iron Man number 1 variant cover.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
nice.
cool.
That's
Kind of
great.
brings it back old school. Namor the Submariner number 4. Once again, I really recommend this series. It's been very good, very entertaining.
Nice.
I showed this one to the guys, but I didn't show it off here. Showed this off to Jamie. I was really happy about this score. Nightwing number 100.
Oh,
Nice.
look at that. That looks
That's
great.
nice.
Classic, great stuff. We got Lazarus Planet Alpha, number 1 there.
Nice.
Yep, right. I got Stargirl, The Lost Children, number 2. Love that cover. And Flash, number 790.
That's a
That's
cool
a
cover.
good
I like
cover.
that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
Got
it's a lightning
Yoda,
streak.
Yoda number 1 and 2. I had to get those. My shop was out of it, so I had to special order those. Deadpool number 3, the Agent X variant cover.
Nice.
Alright. We got
Getting
Deadly
down to the
Neighborhood
bottom.
Spider- What's that?
We're getting down to the bottom.
Yeah. Deadly Spider-Man, Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 4. That's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
Can't know if you guys can see that or not. but-
Yeah, oh yeah.
Dark Web X-Men number 3. Havoc and Goblin Queen.
Sal, I think you showed that last week, or Dan, you did. One of you
Yep.
guys
It
had
was
Yeah.
that.
down.
And I had to get this variant cover because I thought this one was awesome. The
Oh,
Neighborhood
yeah.
Spider-Man number 1. That is
That
just
looks
such a
good.
cool cover. And 2 more things, and then I'm done. Let me
Just two?
yeah, just 2. I got I didn't know whether or not it was going to be you and Jamie, but it was going to show this one as
Okay.
an homage to Jamie. I just got this one today. The trade paperback for Green Lantern Rebirth.
You're gonna love
Nice.
that story.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah. And this is the one that I'm like been wanting to pick up for decades and haven't been able to find and pick up until today.
Okay.
And I've mentioned this one to Dan as like glaring omission of my of my collection, from my collection. Epic Collection, Amazing Spider-Man, Craven's Last Hunt.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
One of the greatest Spider-Man stories ever written.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things about this edition is it also has the Spider-Man versus Wolverine one-shot.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
that's
a good
great.
one too.
That's a
So
great story
good.
too.
So
Score.
good.
I had to, it's such a great. I've been looking for this thing for a hot minute, and I mean, look how old school this is. Look at that! Look at that!
That's great.
And
That's-
what's cool about that? What's cool about Craven's Last Hunt too is it's too much to go into.
Hold that up
And
again, Kevin.
But look up the history of it on just Google it, because it was originally conceived to be a Batman story, and they passed on it, and he just kind of kept it in his back pocket. I think it was going to be a Wonder Man story at some point, and it eventually found its way to being a Spider-Man story, and he made changes obviously along the way.
Wow.
But just the whole history of him coming up with the idea before it ever got to be a Spider-Man story is a pretty cool thing to read about.
And
That's wonderful.
If you read it or have read it, you'll realize that it has a lot more of a Batman dark, gritty feel to it than a Spider-Man story. This is, I think, probably one of the darkest Spider-Man stories I've ever read in my life, and it's bloody brilliant. So
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that is wonderful books all the way around. Always great to see that stuff every week, and I can't wait to see what you guys bring to the table next week. I'm going to dig through my collection and try and find some cool stuff that you may or may not have seen before. But anyways,
I'll try to make I'll try to make my stock twice as big for next week.
That'd be perfect. That'd be great. I won't have my kids next week, so we could stay on until 6 a.m. if you want to.
Man, don't tempt me, Frodo.
But anyways, moving on, we're going to go ahead and get to our first topic of the week, and that is companies that no longer exist or have folded into the big two. So the reason I brought that up is I read an issue of Malibu's Ultraverse Solitaire, as a matter of fact. I did a review on it, recorded it. Haven't finished editing it yet, but once it's done, Jamie will put it up there, and you guys will get to see exactly how I felt about it. But it reminded me of all these different companies or different types of more obscure characters that just aren't around anymore. The Malibu universe being one of them, their Ultraverse line. They were super huge in the 90s. And then, with the market crash and all that stuff, they were bought by Marvel, and the characters now have their own numbering in the multiverse, but we'll never, ever, ever see them again because of so much red tape that would have to be cut that nobody wants to do. Another company that comes to mind is Aftershock. That's recent, where they have gone into bankruptcy. We'll see exactly what happens with that as the story progresses. But I mean, it was a bunch of great stories, and now there's the strong possibility we may never see that company again. Valiant's original iteration, when it fell through the cracks and all that stuff, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Dan, we'll go ahead and start with you first. If you have any thoughts on the matter, any companies that you remember, or titles or characters from those companies that aren't around anymore.
Yeah, I'll start with some of the ones you said. Valiant, I was a big Valiant fan. Harbinger, Hardcore,
Shadow Man and Bloodshot and Exo Man of War were my three titles.
Magnus was really good.
Turok was good too.
Ryan, the Future Force. I mean, there were so many. The Geomancer book. Like, there was just so much good stuff that they put out. Archer and Armstrong. Like, you just keep going on and on. And then they, and then after
when Acclaim bought them.
Shooter, it kind of started to go downhill, and then because they had like big talent like Bob Layton and some of these guys working there. Then they kind of got X Shooter, and then they started
Bart
going
Sears.
downhill.
They had him in there too.
And Barry Windsor Smith a lot. And then they. I mean, hell, Jim Lee did the cover for Hardcore #1.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they started going downhill. They were bought by Acclaim. It went out of business. It brought back a few years ago, and now it's looking like it's going to go away again.
Yeah. This is technically like the third iteration of Valiant that we're on, because you had the first Valiant universe that Shooter started, and then he eventually left, and Bart Sears and Windsor Smith and all those other guys were doing books. And then when Acclaim bought them, they
Yeah.
shut everything down. I think they did the the Time Quake or something like that, or Mind Quake or whatever
Something
it was.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, that closed everything off, and then they redid the entire line of books, but in the Marvel DC Image style, and it failed miserably because that's not what people wanted to read.
Yeah.
And then you had the Summer of Valiant in like 2013, 2014, right around when New 52 came out, and they exploded. I was there for that. I loved it.
When it came back.
Yep, and it was
like
awesome.
it just kind of started tailing off, and the publishing on books got inconsistent.
Yeah.
Eternal Warrior and Ninjak were in there as well, right?
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Time Walker was another one that was a really awesome book.
Yeah.
But
Our Marines.
Yes. Exo Man of War.
Yeah.
Jamie's favorite.
Yeah. But go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna move on. I was gonna move on to another one if you got something else to say about that.
No, not really. I think we've covered pretty much all of that. They've had 3 tries, and the first try was great. The second try, not so much. The third try was awesome, and just time after time, it just keeps falling down. What other company do you have?
I was gonna mention Ultraverse, like you did Malibu. That they were big. They had Ultra Force had its own cartoon. They had toys. They had there was the TV
trading cards.
Yeah, trading cards. There was the TV show for Nightman.
Nightman. Yep.
Yeah. Like it was big. Like Prime was a
huge
character. Yeah, and then Marvel bought them so that they could get their coloring technology, and then they just kind of phased them out. And there's a lot of great characters that are just sitting there unused.
Well, the thing with Malibu,
part of that or no?
No, he was with Chaos.
Chaos, right? Okay.
Evil Ernie was with Chaos Comics. The thing with Malibu, though, was that if I remember right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, all those characters were creator owned too. And that's kind of one major piece of red tape that Marvel just does not want to cut through. I mean, they're doing that with Riri Williams, fuck, I can't even think of his name right now, and I just cussed super major. But anyways, it can be edited out.
It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. But God, the bald guy that wrote Bendis. With him, he made the stipulation that if her name is even whispered, I get 10% or whatever the case may be. But with all the Malibu characters, if I understand that right, they are all creator owned, and Marvel just doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I'm not sure, but it's a whole, like a lot of good characters are just sitting there unused. Go back a couple more. I go back to
Prototype.
Yeah, Prototype was
Iron Man. Malibu's Iron Man.
Prototype was very cool. I like that Prototype a lot.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Charleston Comics. When DC bought that, and
Blue Beetle.
Because they had Blue Beetle, who didn't even start with them, but they had Blue Beetle and Captain Atom and The Question and Judo Master and like all kinds of characters. Some of them were like Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, Vigilante. Like some of these were major characters for a while. Yeah, and they're just not really used anymore. But now James Gunn made the Peacemaker show.
Dennis O'Neill's
featuring some of the characters, so we'll see if there's more of them in season 2.
Dennis
I remember
O'Neill's...
they had a character. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
I remember they had a cover back in the day for I think it was Vigilante, where they could never ever get away with it today. It was like, buy this comic or I'll shoot this dog. It was like,
Denny O'Neill's Question run.
Yes,
the whole run was amazing. It was it was prestige format when they were doing that, like before Vertigo, but it was inside continuity stuff, and that stuff was borderline mature at times, and it was just amazing.
And if you're really curious about that, I just read that I believe that they're coming out with an omnibus of Jenny O'Neill's Question that's on Slate
nice.
for coming out. So
I would love to have that.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, Kevin, what companies are you thinking of that may have hit the road that are not around anymore?
One of the ones that I really loved back in the day, and I was so heartbroken to see it fold, was CrossGen. I loved CrossGen.
Wasn't that a
It's-
Marvel imprint?
No, it was
it
a separate company.
It was a
Okay,
separate
okay.
company. Marvel recently came out with a kind of a short thing where it had like the first issues of 4 of the different titles
Right.
for CrossGen, but it was CrossGen was owned by a rich guy who was just a big comic fan, and he created his own company called CrossGen, and I guess it just wasn't sustainable and it folded, but it was so cool. One of my favorite comics that I've read is one called Ruse, and it's about
Okay.
a like it's basically Sherlock Holmes, but it took place in an alternate Victorian England where they had like little gargoyles instead of like pigeons, and it was an
Interesting.
overarching theme for all of their comics where there's like I don't want to use the term because I don't remember, but it's something like the source where each of the different titles from CrossGen, it was like a sword and sorcery one, there was a horror one, there was Ruse the mystery one, there was a bunch of different genres of titles that they had, and each one of them had this one overarching theme of the superpower that was kind of like manipulating and giving them the powers or source of what they had. Like the source created like the sorcery in the sword and sorcery one, the magic and the sword and
Right.
sorcery one. The the main protagonist was Art. I don't remember Simon Archer, Archered in Ruse, but the story was being told by his assistant, and his assistant had the ability to like stop time to be able to help and figure. And it was just a really cool, brilliant run of comics that it was. I think it was a loss to the industry when that folded.
They had some big talent too.
What's that?
I say they had some big time talent that he got to go with. I remember reading a thing in Wizard when it started, and he was like built, had the building that they were in where like they all worked out of, and he had like a showers built in there and like all this stuff, so they could be like, you could like crash here, you could work out, you could eat, you could, all that.
It was a rich dude. And
he wanted to have a house filled with a bunch of comic creators. Well, he did it.
Yeah. I mean,
and the other one is
we're not going to do that if we hit it big.
And
right.
And the other one I'm going to mention is it was never separate, but it was still separate, and it kind of folded back into DC. But Vertigo was one of the best story producing imprints I've ever, like everything that Vertigo did was gold.
I personally think it was a horrible decision to cut the Vertigo line. That's my opinion.
Agree with you.
I think
absolutely agree.
Black Label is Black Label. That's cool.
Right.
Keep it, let it do its thing. But Vertigo was just something different. And even I remember back in the day, like when I first saw Vertigo comics, I didn't know if they were Marvel or DC or whatever because it just said Vertigo on the top.
Vertigo. Yep. Are you listening, DC?
No, they're not. No, not at all. Sal, Sal, what about you?
All right. Well, I'm actually the one that's least collected any of these titles. When these were strong or hot and heavy, I probably was not collecting them just due to financial reasons, and I was sticking with Marvel and DC. But I do have a couple of them that I picked up in my collecting past. I have one called Adventures into the Unknown. It was actually from the American Comics Group
Oh,
from
okay.
1963. I have no idea what happened to that, so if anybody wants to look that up, to check that out.
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think I also read that it's or maybe America's Comics Group, or I think it may be America's Best Comics, but they're also putting out a bunch of comics like Tom Strong and
That was part
I'm
of
not
Wild.
sure. Well, okay, but it's being produced by I think it's America's Best Comics, or so it may be a different thing. Sorry,
Sal,
go
I
ahead.
got it for you. America's Best Comics.
No,
It was
no
set
American
up.
Comics Group.
America Comics
Oh,
Group.
Sorry, my bad. Different.
Yep. This came out in 1963.
Oh,
Gotcha.
The volume or the title was called Adventures into the Unknown. I have issue number 139. So,
Here we go.
and I don't even remember how I got this book. It just ended up in my collection for somehow. Just
what was that
magically
one
appeared.
about?
This particular issue, the cover it looks like a military cover. There's some military guys running through some flames, and it says "Thrill to a mysterious miracle of the war, the little magic man." So the guy in the foreground, he's saying there's nothing to get those there's nothing past those flames to save those soldiers except magic, and he's doing something like this, and he's like spreading the flames out, and they got a couple of soldiers saying like, "Come on, we can run, make a run for it," that type of thing.
Well,
So-
Sal, check
Yes.
this out. American
All right.
Comics Group was an
Yeah.
American comic book publisher, started in 1939 and existed under the ACG name from 1943 to 1967. The comic you have is its first published ongoing horror comic, and it was called Adventures into the Unknown.
Oh wow.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
That's
So
kind of awesome.
the only other one I have is actually was a Nightman and Wolverine crossover.
Oh, I think I
Interesting.
vaguely remember that.
Yep. So when did this one come out? Hold on, I'll take a look really quick here. Nightman, I had it up, but then I lost it. There it is.
What issue number is that? Adventures into the Unknown.
Number 139.
Okay, it went to 174.
Okay.
No, wow.
So
and-
it's for the this one, the Nightman versus Wolverine, came out in '95 by Malibu Comics.
Nice.
It has both of them on the cover. I think I've got like the gold version of this or something.
Nice.
And I think it's actually signed. I don't know. I think I have it
Oh,
signed
cool.
by one of the creators on this.
So you do have,
Inadvertently.
yeah.
I was gonna say
Do you
two
have
more that I think we briefly touched on. Kevin had mentioned Chaos Comics.
Yeah. Okay.
They were
Lady
huge
Death?
in the 90s.
They
Like
were,
Evil Ernie
yeah.
and especially Lady Death.
Yep.
And then when they went under and he, and Polito had to sell the stuff off, I was a big Evil Ernie fan. I've got a lot of the stuff. I mean, I tell there's a song on my first album that's my most listened to song on SoundCloud called Megadeth. It's about Evil Ernie. And when he sold them off, and I want to say it was Devil's Due, which is another company that's not around.
Devil's Due was a good idea that did not go very well.
Yeah. But I think they were the ones that bought Evil Ernie, and I bought the first miniseries they did, Evil Ernie and Santa Fe, and it just nice.
Nice. Wow.
Love it. That's good.
Is that number one? Is that
No,
number one?
yeah, Lady Death Between Heaven and Hell, number 1.
It's one of there were no ongoing series. It was all a bunch of miniseries, but
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I read the Evil Ernie in Santa Fe when Devil's Due did. It just was not as good. Even though I mentioned it in the song I did, it's not as good.
Let's
They
talk about
Crazy covers though.
Let's talk about Devil's Due and Viper Comics. Do you remember Viper Comics? They
I
did
do
Dead at
remember
17.
Mm.
Did you ever read Dead at
Uh,
17?
Okay, I do kind of remember.
Right. Okay. So
That
like
sounds
with
familiar.
Devil's Due, I think bit off more than they could chew. That rhymes. I am a poet, and I didn't even know it. But anyways, yeah, I think they bit off more than they could chew because they got some pretty big properties.
Yeah,
right? They were doing GI Joe and Transformers and things like that, and I think that more responsibility was added to them that kind of made them fold. They tried to make a comeback for a little while, and I think they maybe have gotten 1 or 2 titles out for an issue or 2, and then it just stopped again. Didn't they have Ninja Turtles too, or did Ninja Turtles go directly from Archie to IDW?
Don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't know.
Who has a computer?
Huh?
Who has a computer?
None of us do. Not a single one of us.
Oh, sorry. I forgot how to type.
Another one I'll throw out there too, even though I'm still publishing the characters, is I was really sad to see Wildstorm get folded into DC.
Yeah,
it was one thing when DC bought it, but they were still like their own separate thing. But now that they folded them into DC and they're trying to like make Team 7 and Wildcats and all these characters like part of DC history, like I hate it. I won't, they were so good. Of all the original Image stuff, that was my favorite, and they were so good on their own and had such a good backstory with the whole Cherubim and Damonite thing, and then the whole Team 7 and how the Team 7 guys branched out to make Wildcats and Backlash and Stormwatch and Gen 13. Like, it was really good. And I hate seeing like we're going to take some of the characters and we're going to use them in DC, but they're not going to be exactly like you remember, and we're just going to kind of get rid of the majority of them.
But those titles were so good. Like you, 1 second, Kevin.
Sorry,
go. Oh, yeah. But like Stormwatch, amazing.
It's such a great idea, too.
Amazing. Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome titles, and DC has such a missed opportunity with those characters. I mean, Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
Own thing as another multiverse world.
Yeah.
Planetary and the Authority were just incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest characters from that title, that company that run, Midnighter. They butchered Midnighter, bringing him into DC. Like he's like, I'm not saying he sucks, but he sucks now. I mean, such an amazing character. He should be able to handle, half of DC by himself and turn them into.
You could have just kept that as a separate universe, as just like this is, Earth 137 or whatever, and just not put it in and just kept them going as their own thing.
Let people tell their stories.
Yeah. Grifter, like Backlash was really cool.
Yeah.
I got the issue number 2 of Backlash and Spider-Man crossover.
Nice. Grifter was so cool, and was I can't remember her name. Angela, wasn't she originally?
She was a McFarlane character. Her and him and Neil Gaiman created her together.
Right, but what was she? What company was she originally?
Image.
She appeared in Spawn.
No, didn't
Spawn
they,
number 9.
Right. Okay. Now, didn't they eventually turn her into? And I may be completely off here. Didn't they turn her into like Thor's cousin or sister or something?
Sister,
half sister, right?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Something like that.
Yeah, well, there was a big lawsuit between Gaiman and McFarlane about that.
Dan, why don't you give us a little bit of rundown on that before we jump into our next topic?
I don't remember all the specifics about it, but I remember, it was when he created it for Spawn, it was you'll have the rights to it. And then when Gaiman wanted to do something else with it and be like, Marvel can use it. And McFarlane was like, no, I own the character. And there was a big lawsuit going back and forth. And, kind of the criticism of McFarlane too was an Image too was like, you guys broke away from Marvel to form your own company. So you would own your own characters. And then you do your own books the way you wanted and own your characters. And then you bring in all these other creators to work on your stuff. And when they create characters, you're like, no, those are our characters now. Like like that was a big criticism, is like, you've just turned yourself into mini Marvel and mini DC. Yeah. And, as we could see, Gaiman eventually won the lawsuit.
Yeah. And what he do? He turned right around and sold it to Marvel. Here you go. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start to wind this down, and we'll do that with our second topic. And this is one that Sal picked, books that are out of your wheelhouse. So, Sal, we'll have you take this first. These are things that you don't normally read, but you're reading right now.
All right. So this is really my thought and 2 cents on this. Is you're reading a lot of books, you're going through them, and you're getting hitting a wall or getting tired of them. This is what I would suggest, is to pick up something else that's maybe not in your wheelhouse, not in your pull list, not your normal pickup. And hearing all these other companies that have folded and gone in and been merged forward, and all these other different characters, this is kind of like what I'm talking about. You could go out and try to bring in or start reading these stories from somewhere. You probably can find them somewhere, and probably reinvigorate your reading, for reading comics and stuff like that. So I picked up this one. It's called Dragon Age. I have not read this yet. And I remember I showed this in the thing.
Yeah.
But it just looks like a really, really cool cover. And I kind of like the supernatural effect of it, but that crossbow is pretty freaking wicked. So, what's that, Kevin?
I'm not sure if you were aware, Sal, but that is based off of the video game series by BioWare.
Yes, because it says BioWare up there in the corner. I recognize that as well.
Yeah,
I recognize that as well.
Sure. Well, I don't have. I didn't know if it had it up on there.
The title caught my eye. BioWare caught my eye, and then of course the freaking crossbow was like the sold, type situation. Right. So that's why I kind of picked it up, because I have a huge stack of books that I haven't read, like I've not caught up on, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it sometimes feel monotonous.
I don't know why they put crossbows on covers, because they're really not practical. They're one and dones.
They're amazingly practical. Haven't you seen the repeater ones? The minigun feed chain of the crossbow?
The ones on your wrist?
I was like, didn't Hawkeye used to have one on his wrist for a while?
Yeah, come on.
So if I had a crossbow and you didn't, all of a sudden it would become practical.
Yes.
Go on, Sal. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So that's why I kind of picked it up. I haven't read it yet, but I feel like if I could just go do something or look at something out of my wheelhouse. Now, I'm going to blame Dan, and I'm also going to blame Tone a little bit on this, because Tone showed me 8 Billion Genies, and I loved it.
Oh,
Dan showed me Vanish, and I loved it. So these are books that are not in my wheelhouse that I picked up and I read. I think 8 Billion Genies is done. I don't think it's ongoing anymore. But Vanish is still going on.
I think there's one more issue, isn't there?
I thought, was it 6 or 7 books? I thought it was 6, because I think I have 6. Anyhow, that's another topic on the. But because you two guys, you told me something that was really excellent, I had to pick it up, and I really enjoyed reading it. I kind of reinvigorated my reading to try and go through some other issues that I haven't read yet to read. Because right now on some titles, I'll be the first one to admit, I get behind on it because I'm not interested in the story or the artwork I don't like, but I want to keep the title collecting because I don't like gaps in my collection.
Yeah,
so
I'm there with you.
I'll keep the book going until I can get reinterested back into it, type of thing. And sometimes going out of your wheelhouse will do that for you.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Dan, why don't you go ahead and go?
Yeah, I'd say you're right. Like, for the longest time, I just read Marvel and DC, and I read Image and Valiant, when they were around. But they were kind of different than a lot of the other independents, because they were still like, they're independents, but they're just doing superhero stuff. They're doing it in a different way, but it's still like the superhero stuff. But the past couple years, I've really started getting a lot more independent books of just varying kind of styles. So like, I would read, someone's killing the children, or something's killing the children, which is horror.
That's like heavy horror, isn't it?
Yeah. Or, like Department of Truth, which is all, like conspiracy theories and stuff.
So good.
Yeah. And We Only Find Them When They're Dead, which is, like pure science fiction. and then a lot of books from Aftershock and Boom, and like a lot of the Robert Kirkman stuff, like Die 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 was. I don't even know what genre you would put that in, because it's like sci-fi, ninja, government, conspiracy,
cyberpunk.
It's just a batshit crazy book, but it's awesome. Or like and Firepower, which is like, hey, here's like a kung fu book, and or like some stuff like there was this miniseries called not by Kirkman, but this miniseries called Proctor Valley Road, which was a pretty cool like 70s kind of teenage horror book. And like that stuff was was really out of my wheelhouse for a while, and I ended up missing out on some cool books which like they're just out of my price range now. Go back and pick them up, but just being more open to picking up these to picking up something off of the rack that like, hey, this looks pretty cool. Like what's the one that I think, Sal, you just did a review on it, didn't you? The We Have Demons.
Yeah, We Have Demons.
Yeah, like
that's another one I like. Yeah.
Cool one. And this series by Boom, Grimm, like that's a cool series. And like I normally mostly stuck to the superhero stuff, but now getting into more independence, which even though there is superhero stuff in independence, there's like so many different genres that that I missed out on over the years. That like you'll have horror in the sense of a bit in like a little bit in Moon Knight or in Blade or Ghost Rider stuff, but
different
it's not
though.
like, but it's like superhero horror. It's not like horror.
Right.
It's different.
So and I think this is a really good time for independent comics, because there's between small companies and people self-publishing stuff on with like Kickstarter and stuff. There's just there's so much more out there and so many more genres that it's just it's a good time. Like you said, it's a good time to spread out from your wheelhouse, and you might not like everything. Like I got this one series, this mini series called Sins of the Black Flamingo. Sins of the Black Flamingo. I recommended Sal, and he picked up the first issue and didn't like it. I read it the whole way through. I think it was 5 issues. Like it was a decent series. It wasn't great, but like the cover really struck me, and I was like, this is kind of a cool, like weird, gay, supernatural kind of heist book. And a few years ago I might not have picked that up, but now I'm just I'm more willing to go outside and of stuff that I normally read if it looks like it might be good.
Okay. Well, while you were talking, I dug through. I just so happened to have my Independence box right here next to me while I was digging in there, and I grabbed some of the stuff that was most certainly out of my wheelhouse. The first one I want to show you. This was a book that as soon as I got it, I think I got it in a collection a while ago. It got set aside, and I didn't touch it. Didn't want to have nothing to do with it. But because of what you had been saying about it, Dan, and other things that I had read, Impossible Jones #1.
That's a fun book.
It was great. I can't believe that I had set it aside, and I was a little bit mad at myself for doing that. And I was like, why did you do that? But that was good. I really enjoyed it. This one was a recommendation from my LCS. And when I was getting books there, I told him, I said, if you see something that you think could be interesting, throw it in there. I'll check it out. And I ended up sticking with this for 2 issues, and then I dropped it because it was just too weird. But Maria Lovelet's Porcelain.
Never heard of that one.
It's absolutely strange. This is from a Blaze Comics. Here's issue #2. And it is just this bizarre, surreal kind of after the end of the world type thing.
Post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, but it's strange. Like none of it makes any sense. It reminds me of a fever dream. And it reads exactly like that, but it's just super odd. And I stuck with it for two issues. I think I may have read one more, but after that, I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on in here, and I can't stick with the book if I don't understand it.
Do the scorecard to know who the players are.
Right? You have to look back and like, what does this have to do with anything? Okay. I love fantasy, obviously, super duper role player. And this one, but I have a hard time reading fantasy comics. But this one stuck out to me a lot, and I read most of the series. But Echo Lands,
I've heard of it.
and it's all sideways. The whole run
Oh, really?
is like this.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it reads like a book, like a flip book, and it's science fiction, fantasy, and a lot of blood, a lot of guts, a lot of cussing.
What's it called again?
It's called Echo Lands. This is the raw cut of #1. I have issue 2 over here also, and the original or the A cover for #1. Okay. But that was out of my wheelhouse. I checked that out, and it was pretty decent. That's from Image.
How recent is it?
Last year.
Okay.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
And then this last one, I can't remember the name of it. I'll take it out and look at it after I show you the cover. But this is super high fantasy, like confusing high fantasy. And I didn't read much more than beyond the first issue. But I really liked it. That's just when I dropped picking up new books, and I'll go back and read it. But this is from Image, and I don't remember the name of it. But I'll take it out.
That's
and
a cool
take
cover.
a look. Yeah, it's a virgin cover, and it is super duper high fantasy, like I said. But let me find out what the name of this book is.
There was kind of a cool fantasy book a few years ago that Mark Millar did with, I think it was Greg Capullo, called Reborn.
Yeah,
that was a good fantasy miniseries.
This is called Starhenge. It is by Liam Sharp.
I've heard of it.
Brian Michael Bendis says you are about to experience a next level artistic event by one of the great voices in all of comics. I am a huge fan of Liam and cannot believe what a magnificent piece of comics art he has created. Yeah, like it's wild reading how things flow and stuff like that. It's like that one issue in Poison Ivy where he uses the borders as part of the story. Stuff like that. Yeah. Super duper high fantasy, high science fiction. I have a hard time reading that too, because if I feel stupid, then I'm like, I'm done with that. But yeah, like Star Trek, I can technobabble all day long, but when they're like, well, you know, with the marriage of Planet X and Planet W and this and that and the colossal extension of metamorphical mind warps, what? I don't understand that. Yeah, but those are out of my wheelhouse. We Have Demons was another one.
Yeah.
Even though Snyder and Capullo were doing that, I almost didn't get it, but I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think they're going to do another one, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are.
So.
Cool.
Well, all right, gentlemen. I think that is a perfect place to put this stroll down memory lane to an end. We all have separate streets to walk down here in a moment. So get your walking shoes on and we'll get ready to do that. Before we get out of here, though, Kevin, let people know where they can find you when you're not on Comic Character of the Week here on the Codex Station.
Well, it's somewhat reminiscent of that. Instead of Comic Character of the Week, it's called Comic Character of the Day, which is a group over on Facebook where we cover a different character, question, a different cover, anything news related, anything funny regarding comics. And we're almost at 500 members. And if you come and join up, we can get out a free comic book giveaway once we hit that number, and it'll be cool if you're into that sort of thing. If not, then it's probably stupid.
Dan, you have
now, Kevin. Jeez.
Dan, you have art on Instagram. Let people know where they can find that, please.
Yeah, you can right there where Sal's got. You can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art, or you can search hashtag Dan Kelly Art on there. On Twitter too, though all the stuff on my Twitter is just reposted from my Instagram. But check it out. I post art and music a few times a week, and yeah, I'm already working on stuff that I'm going to be posting next Friday. I'm going to try. I'm not going to get it on every Friday, but I'm going to try on most Fridays to do what I'm going to call First Appearance Friday, where I'm going to post original characters that I've created. I've already posted one so far, and I'm going to be posting the second one this coming Friday, so check it out.
Nice. And Sal, before we get out of here, where can people find you when you're not doing stuff on After Dark and
All
Comic
right.
Character of the Week?
Okay. You could actually find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner, as Dan's got right there. You could also find me on Instagram with SlabGuy77, which has some shorts and stuff like that I basically take from YouTube and send over to Instagram. So, yep.
They're shorts.
Shorts.
Nice.
It's like Robin
There
pants.
you go.
And if you want to hear, I'll also throw it in too for me. If you want to hear some of my kick-ass music, you can find it on SoundCloud under the band name Never Say Die. And you can look up my last album, Punk Rock Pirates, which is #1 on the charts in Romania right now. So
There you go.
That's wonderful.
You gotta start somewhere, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find me right here on the Codex Station. You can find all these beautiful gentlemen here too. All you got to do is type in the Codex Station. That's where we are. We are on all your favorite social media platforms. And if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, go ahead and hit that like, share, subscribe, or follow button. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about this long form content, whether you liked it, didn't like it. It helps with the YouTube and Twitch algorithm gods and lets them know that we deserve to be shown to more people just like you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim. Down below is Archduke Kevy. Over to his side is the beautifully talented Dan Kelly. And up above is the Slab Fairy himself, Sal, the Slab Guy. This is Codex After Dark. We are the Codex Station, and we will see you next time.
see you.
Much love. Peace.